in. But if you start falling behind, that's where I don't know, like looking at the targets on Xtreme, it's like, oh, we're behind. Okay, can we kill a Dragon Knight? No. Can we kill the Primal Beast? No. No, Clockwork's not an easy kill. Queen of Pain could potentially blink out. It's down to the Warlock, right? You don't have very many options to get back into this if you can't just run at them. So I feel like if they do well in the lanes, we could see a Moodeng victory, but Xtreme, you know, they're no slouches in the laning stage. They've got some solid heroes. So I think Xtreme's in a good spot.
Okay. I will say, before we get too far into the game, I want to give a shout out to just the production, like intro musics that we've had for each of the games. Like, it's just fun. It's a nice little touch. You did get your wish. It is going to be the Snot Rocket Bristleback, which should be very fun to see. So they're going to make a smoke rotation here on the other side. They're going to run right into the Dragon Knight, but not close enough as 4-2-3 rounds the corner too quickly there. And we'll lose his smoke. And now the counter smoke here from Xtreme, likely just to head top, see what they can find. For those of you that are just tuning in, welcome. It is Moodeng versus Xtreme Gaming here in game number 1. You haven't really missed a whole lot. We're just getting started. Jab's going to try and walk through here, invis, see what he can find, popping some smokes. Sentry's going to get placed.
Sentry commitment.
Yeah, I mean, you know the bounty hunter is here. The smoke pop. This trample's doing a lot of damage, and it's going to be enough to secure first blood. So Xtreme Gaming going to be very happy with this. They get themselves 3 bounty runes in the process as well. So that's going to hurt the lane stage quite a bit.
It's a great start. They just need to be a little bit careful because there is a limited sentry supply at the start, right? So you get the first blood. Gold-wise pays off, 50 gold for the first blood, but there is now a limit on blocking and unblocking camps and needing it in the lane versus the bounty. So you have to play around what existing sentries you do have, make sure to keep them alive, make sure you're on point with the body blocks. Otherwise, sometimes that's where that first blood sentry ends up backfiring on you.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. Bottom lane.
Warrior gets killed.
Ooh, that actually hurts a lot. I was gonna say bottom lane, we're just seeing the Fatal Bonds get to work and do so much damage right out of the gate here against the Bristleback. When he's the weakest, this is exactly when you need to be putting the pressure. And that's exactly why the Bounty Hunters are already gone for the wave drag and unable to stop that on the Warlock, really, right? Like, this is not a hero that contests dragging.
No, in fact, you want the camps open, which kind of leads me back to the point. The hard camp got body blocked, the small camp got blocked with a sentry, and they currently don't have another one to open that up. Unfortunately, Xtreme did handle it well. They just kept the creeps out of the tower, did their own drag around, so for now it should be okay. But this is what JT wants on the Bristleback, right? Not the strongest level 1 with Snot Rocket. Level 2, level 3, gonna be pretty good, but you got to get there first. First this Dragon Knight and Warlock without getting destroyed by Fatal Bonds. So should be set up. We'll see if they can do anything with that power spike later.
One thing that I forgot about Lifestealer that is really interesting, because I didn't play him pretty much ever since the facets came out until like very recently. The fact that you can deny your own creeps from like 75% HP, it does help a lot in the lane. And it's a little thing that maybe people don't even realize is like, it's in the, like, they probably don't even know that this exists. Like, it really is one of those things that helps him freeze lanes, and it's one of the reasons Lifestealer has kind of popped back up into the meta against a lot of these strength heroes.
There's a chunk of players that, of course it exists. How do you not know this exists? It's so obvious. And then the other's like, oh yeah, he's got an innate ability, right? Yeah. It's so hard, like which ones you remember or don't. Even though it's been out for a while now, I feel like I'm still constantly remembering, like, oh yeah, that's what this does.
Yeah, I was like probably halfway through the game of playing it, and then I like did an attack command on my unit to like re-aggro, and I actually hit the creep, and I'm like, wait a minute, that was definitely not in deny range. And that's the moment you're like, remember, you're like, oh, forgot about this. So yeah, it's cool. Lifestealer are doing, I mean, overall right now, CS pretty even across the board between all of the roles. There's the hard camp pull, like you said, using those fatal bonds here to stack up some of that damage. And, well, JT, he might get some of the creeps, but he is going to lose a lot of health. Top side, 4-2-3. In a little bit of trouble, but not too much. Man, I feel like they have not been able to pressure this Dragon Knight at all. He has just been sitting full HP in this lane.
That's exactly what Fatal Bonds is good for, right? You try to do any of this fighting, and you just end up taking way too much damage for it. Unfortunately, JT does have one Bracer already, so he will heal up a bit. This way, the rocket's starting to come into play, though.
Yeah, that Nasal Goo, he's at 5 stacks. They're going to just walk him down. Warlock can't really help too much once those spells are on cooldown.
Yeah, went to
biding his time. Yeah.
Thought a full health Dragon Knight would be okay, but this is a lot of negative armor from JT. Looking for a second blood now on Undyne. All right, there you go for Moodeng. Bided their time till they got the levels they needed, and now this Snot Rocket. This is exactly how you have to use this. You have to find early aggression with the ridiculous negative armor, which... Oh man, I forget the exact amount. What is it? 17 we decide? What's our level 1 negative armor?
It's somewhere between like 3 and 27, I think.
The first Nasal Goo is 4.5 armor loss, and then it goes up to 17. If I can NA math this correctly. That's a lot at these early levels. Most heroes, believe it or not, even Dragon Knight, do not have 17 armor. So you end up doing a ton of bonus physical damage, which is exactly what Bristleback and Bounty have.
Yeah. The, like, Dragon Knight underneath his tower sits at, like, 10, right? Just leveled up, so now he has 11. But it's, yeah, typically you'd feel very safe on this hero against most, you know, situations. But that Snot Rocket... stacking up that many times, yeah, ends up punishing him very heavily. XM's gonna get his level 6 in the mid lane, so Sonic Wave now available. Abed hits level 6 as well. See if we see a rotation from the Queen of Pain here, but looks like we might just see some fighting over these power runes here in a moment. They're gonna scout Ollie topside here under a ward. But so far, no one else from Xtreme making this rotation quite yet. Warlock's a little bit too slow from the bottom side. He's also scouted from a ward. So who wins the 50-50? Looks like it's going to be Abed. It's a regen. Okay. That'll help out quite a bit. He's been taking a lot of harassment in the lane.
It's also quite nice because a lot of your early farming speed does come from using spells, and Tiny, not the biggest mana pool. He even rushed a Soul Ring to speed up the farm. I think no, he wants to get the blink.
Bottom lane, rotation in from Ollie. They've got that Nasal Goo stacking up, and, well, the Fatal Bond's doing a lot of damage here on over to the Zeus. Is it enough to finish the kill? It will be if you throw the Sonic Wave XM, looking to finish off that Zeus, but it's going to cost you your Dragon Knight. Do you get JT? They do not. Did he not put a point in Sonic Wave? I'm guessing.
He used it earlier. I think when he first came in. I kind of missed the...
What? Oh, he ganked 4-2-3 topside and killed him. All right, that's one way to do it. All right, that makes it worth it then. I missed that completely. Thank you, Observer. You're amazing.
That's really good then. So he shows up top, kills 423, shows up bottom. They do lose the Dragon Knight, but I think getting your Queen of Pain rolling is pretty
really
worth
important.
it. Yeah, because she's the one who's gonna move around. Dragon Knight, I mean, if you play him as mid, yeah, he comes online early and does stuff. But otherwise, you farm a bit.
Avalanche actually off the mark there, just allows that Primal Beast to onslaught away. Polosin not going to be as lucky, but yeah, a little bit of a blessing there for that Primal Beast. Otherwise, would have absolutely been dead. Bottom lane looks like doesn't really want to dive this Dragon Knight here again. It's really weird seeing the red Nasal Goo.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. In that gank, I was watching his armor. Dragonite under the tower went to -4. That's not as much as you would usually see, but that's a pretty big deal for someone like Dragonite, who is typically known for being a high armor hero.
All right, Sonic Wave is going to be back off cooldown, but very low on mana, so we'll probably see the co-op make her retreat back to the base, look for a rotation to one of these side lanes, and put that spell back on cooldown. He's closing in on his first, like, kind of power item. You'd have loved that arcane rune, but Jab's really good job from him to steal it. A lot of stacking, I feel like, in this game from what I've been seeing, and most of it on the side of Xtreme, actually. Like, the camps behind the safe lane were stacked like 3 to 4 times. We've seen stacks in the triangle as well as on their just Radiant side jungle. And now they're going to contest the ancient stack that was being made by Moodeng. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Dragonite make his way over there as well, but maybe they can just finish it with just the Queen of Pain.
Might also be scary to go too far. This is the Snot Rocket, so if you're on the enemy side of the map and you don't have blinks or mobilities, you pretty much can't get away. You drop to such a low movement speed so quickly. It's only like 3 Snot Rockets to hit you, and suddenly you're not even moving.
Yeah. That is a very good point.
Especially when you have your own stacks to secure, which I kind of like the idea, especially with a hero like Warlock. Now, he does have 6 because he went the Black Grimoire, actually used it pretty early. Even with, I think he only had 2 charges on it, but he's level 6 right now, trying to make a play mid with it. But otherwise, you can't really force things to happen, right? I mean, like Clockwork kind of can, but Clockwork's level 4, and needs to get to 6. So if you don't have a lot of plays to make, just stack up and get strong with your Dragonite, your Primal Beast. Let them hit the item timing so they can start stuff.
This is when you just drop the rock, just really send a message and just take the tower. But they'll get it eventually. It's a bigger message if
you don't drop the rock.
Okay, they brought Primal Beast in. They'll be fine. I was like, they can't tank this forever. The shield rune's going to run out eventually. But a really good rune to get when you're just going to brute force siege a tower. So, very nicely done here from Xtreme. They'll be able to grab the first tower of the game. Goes to XM, who is having a pretty good start on his way towards that Dagon.
Looking to steal that stack you mentioned earlier now. Potentially. Maybe take this tower first, bring your Dragonite in with you to steal that stack. His armlet is on the way, so they're really strong right now. They still have Chaotic Offering. And they've just left Polosin to go, just go sit in a lane that you can sit safely and get your level 6. Because he sacrificed a lot to stack, rotate, all of that, so he's pretty underleveled.
Yeah, this quad almost core lineup between these heroes right here are incredibly powerful. Now, where are we on the tiny blink? Because that is going to be a massive timing for the side of Moodeng. And at the moment, well, New just cleans up that stack on the Ancients, no problem at all. And this is where I'm a little bit worried. New does have no onslaught for 7. Just going to turn around with a Pulverize. Look to just kill the Bounty Hunter at the start of the fight with the damage coming in from that Dragonite. Seems pretty dang easy. Onslaught's down to the low ground to get rid of these Nasal Goose stacks, but XM jumps on in, deletes the Zeus, but you're in no man's land. 20 stick charges might be enough to bail him out, but it's not. He holds the Sonic Wave and gets absolutely punished.
Needed to commit it just a little bit sooner, and then I think Blink will come back off cooldown and he can get out of there. Yeah, otherwise punished pretty hard. I mean, that is just a position 5 Zeus nowadays, right? That's not a mid Zeus you're trading your life for, getting to kill first. So, a little bit of amplified damage overconfidence there.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it is. You get baited by your own amplified damage sometimes. You're like, I can kill this hero without really thinking about the consequences. So, Nice little pick off on the top side. Polison comes in with that hook shot. Tier 1 tower now gonna die. The same thing we saw bottom, right? 4 heroes from Xtreme Gaming just grouping up, finding objectives. The game is still very even, is the thing. And I think Moodeng is really just like 1 or 2 track kills away from turning it completely around. So I would like to see them try to find plays with this bounty hunter, but it kind of comes back to the draft and my initial concern of when they picked the bounty. They were showing 2 already very tanky heroes, and then they just picked more tanky heroes. So it's not going to be super easy, I think, to connect on these bounties.
Yeah, to be fair, they were biding their time. The blink is now done on Abed. So like you said, a couple track kills could very swiftly turn this. Jab's going to get to work on trying to track these heroes up top. You bring in the damage. Zeus has a lot right now. Yeah, they're just a bit too slow to get here.
I mean, your lifestealer's dead. So is your bounty. They just dropped the rock, the full commitment. Again, the rage doesn't protect you against this, but they're going to go ahead and fight now. The avalanche, the toss onto the Queen of Pain will be enough to find the kill. Now these nasal goose stacks, they're splashing around here in the fight. Polison in some trouble. Blade Mill out from JT. He's got his attention onto this clockwork. He's going to get him. Now looking for new 4 stacks. Great avalanche toss back onto the 2. Who needs the lifestealer? You've got the other heroes. Triple kill for JT. Ends up being 4 heroes dead on the side of Xtreme. And Snot Rocket doing some heavy lifting here.
That is such a call to make. That is some SEA, SA Dota that's like, yeah, we're 3-5. Let's go. We can win this. And a lot of it is because they commit so many spells up here killing the lifestealer, right? So there's Pulverize, there's the ult, Fatal Bonds. They drop a lot, use a lot of their big spells, and then they think they're fine. This is when Queen of Pain just taken out of the fight. Her ult never comes out. The Snot Rocket just applying to everybody. Unfortunately, I think a lot of the tracks faded before the heroes actually died.
Yeah.
But I don't think you complain about that when you just took this 3v5 and got 4 kills.
Yeah, Abed, big shout out to him as well, getting 2 multi-hero Avatosses, right? That is just like exactly what you need out of your Tiny right now, who has been a little silent this game, right? Waiting for that Blink Dagger, but we're back, right? Like we were saying, you're just a couple kills away from evening this out. The big issue you have is the structural damage to your towers. So Moodeng getting a couple towers now themselves. And you really are just going to start playing around this Bristleback who's got Blade Mail, Glimmer Cape. Like, he's not going to be an easy hero to bring down. Oh, Abed jumps in, toss back, avalanche to follow. Can you bring down the tanky Primal Beast? They can. Great hook shot from Polison. Huge Sonic Wave on the backside, trying to take down Jabs. He gets him with the Dagon, and now Abed tossed away, going to send that Clockwork somewhere else. Infest will save him. Wait a minute, they're going to turn around. XM, he's gone in too far. Fatal Bonds are out, but dispelled now by 423, trying to turn this damage into the Dragon Knight, and they got him. An overextension again from Xtreme.
That's cool. I mean, they thought Abed was TPing out, so they didn't think any other heroes were here, as he's just in full retreat mode. So Queen of Pain blinks in really aggressively, trying to finish up that kill. But he's saved by the lifestealer, and then he's like, you know what, I'm fine. I just cancel my TP, just join the fight again. Avalanche toss, pretty low cooldown spells. We just went from being down 2k to suddenly being up to 3k now. A huge gold swing in the last couple of minutes. Moodeng really knowing their timing, right? They took their time. They had to give up a couple towers for it, but they knew, like, don't even bother fighting till Abed has his blink. As soon as he has it, we will be good to go. And they are absolutely right so far. Trying to keep this momentum going, looking for even more in the enemy triangle. I don't think these 2 heroes alone have the damage to kill a Dragon Knight, though.
Yeah, not really.
Trying.
I think Abed also thought Abed was TPing out in that fight. Nice rock here to save XM. A lot of damage from the Queen of Pain and the Fatal Bonds, but they burst him down again with the help of the Zeus. Oh, man, and here comes JT. 4 Nasal Goose stacks up. No way to cancel, but there's the avalanche from downtown. They get themselves another Undying Force to TP to safety. You have a serious issue now on the side of Xtreme. These few unnecessary deaths that they had have massively cost them, and your lifestealer is, like we said, kind of uncountered for the most part. We were really worried about the matchup of like Primal Beast DK into it, and now he is surpassed all cores on Xtreme Gaming.
The last couple fights, being able to take the Queen of Pain out without her being able to do too much, because her abilities are quite low cooldown. You know, you want to cycle through all the spells. When you're just taken out straight away, you're losing a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage. Oh my god.
It's just like, he just tracks him, and then Tiny's like, get in there. Go for him, buddy.
I mean,
That's the phylactery reveal there.
Yeah, it's only level 1 track, but that's still 6% amplification for Tiny's burst damage. That was a lot.
No, Polosin is giga dead. They picked up a Lotus here to try and deal with some of the nasal goo, but he is very much alone there on the high ground. JT has played this extremely well.
Yeah, I think that off lane worked out very well, where that is not an easy lane to play into, the Warlock and the Dragon Knight, but doing the early creep dragging, waiting till they had the nasal goo, and not a lot of players do the Snot Rocket. You know, like, you and I are always hyped to see it because we think it's cool, but truly the majority of players go seeing red, and that only comes into play at level 6. And I think they really caught Xtreme Gaming off guard with that level, I think like level 3 dive, getting 2 kills. And ever since then, JT has not slowed down. He's been very aggressive, very high farming, lots of the stack we talked about earlier, top of the net worth with the Glimmer Cape build. Not everyone a huge fan that Glimmer Cape has suddenly become so common on cores, but I think it's really cool. Queen of Pain, another. Oh my god. She's even sitting on strength treads.
Yeah, I would say XM's game has been all downhill ever since that like blink into the mid-tier 2. Like, he was in a pretty good spot, but that death really halted a lot of his momentum. And now that they have the items, right, on the side of Moodeng, Jabs can just set up kills, and you do not survive that burst damage, especially if they want to offer the Zeus, right? Like, something that, you know, when we talk about Bounty Hunter, he needs to have some form of global damage, and they do have it a little bit. Now, New here, gonna pop that Lotus Orb. Onslaught away, but the team's wrapping around. It's gonna be the Bristleback up onto the high ground. Vessel onto JT's gonna do some work, but he turns his back. He's got 3 Goose Stacks. They have to try and run, but do they have the ability to do so? XM, big Sonic Wave onto 2, hits Abed as well as Jabs, but they're still standing their ground. And JT again, he's just turning his back. He doesn't care. He can't move. This Dragon Knight is stuck, completely isolated out. They're gonna lose 2 more on the side of Xtreme Gaming as they just cannot connect on these kills.
This is where, I mean, the game can flip so quickly, right? From being up 2,000 and then the last few fights just slipping away. You had enough damage to easily find kills, but now you've given like 10,000 gold over. So now you've got Solar Crust to deal with. You have drums on like the bounty just finished up. He had extra stats from the Spirit Vessel he had finished, which I saw like the Scream of Pain hit him. He didn't even get like that close to dying. You know, a couple hundred health left because he's higher level, because he has more items. And now things are just really tough for Xtreme Gaming. I don't think they're going to win any direct 5-on-5, even with a Warlock, and that means you're in a really bad spot. You have to start going for some of these smaller pickoffs. Hook shot, pulverize, you know, follow up with the Dragon Knight or the Queen of Pain. You're going to have to commit a lot of spells to get small kills to try to climb your way back into this.
And here's where it kind of comes back to the draft. Like, they go for this first pick Bristleback, and we did mention, like, Primal Beast is a good counter on paper to the Bristleback, but it is item dependent. You need multiple items early before going for the Aghanim Scepter, and now it's like 22.5 minutes in. You are 4,000 gold behind the Bristle, and he is just now starting the Ags. So it is going to be quite a while before we're going to see that Aghanim Scepter online and really play a factor in this game. But JT's got a Lotus, which means the Pulverize is not going to be super useful this game. So there's the itemization for Moodeng is very good. I'm gonna give the Aegis to JT here, as he's just gonna be the front line, it seems.
First Aegis, clear up these tier 2s. I feel like you could just go high ground. Like, you don't have to force it too hard right away. You wait out your Aegis to see if you can get a kill, but I feel like you can just chip it with the bristleback on front instead of the usual carry lifestealer. Because, I mean, bristleback's kind of a carry at this point, and he is insanely hard to kill with his Glimmer Blade Mail Lotus. He's not actually
smoking
with the
across
team
the
right
map
now.
here. Yeah, they really want to find a track like infest or a bounty infest kill here, but we'll see Xtreme Gaming's just huddled inside their base, seeing the waves like push out and no one respond. They know that Moodeng has to be smoked up.
Yeah, this is a bit risky from Moodeng, honestly, because I feel the only way you lose is if you stop taking 5v5 fights or favorable pickoffs. And a lot of that is JT, the team fight with the Snot Rocket Slow and all his... It's literally all utility items, right? Okay, now he's going Sanjan Yasha for himself. But before that, it was all utility items. So not having him in the fight is actually one way you could lose and then give up a huge chunk of gold. But they didn't have the vision to punish them for it, so they have reassembled, taken the tier 2 mid, gonna make their way top. The lane is almost here to take the last outer tower. At which point, your map is really hard to play. You no longer... Oh, Polo Sun did not leave fast enough.
Yeah, they caught the Dragon Knight on a ward topside, and they were trying to wrap around and collapse onto him. And instead, they just find the Clockwork, who was there to try and tank the gank a little bit. So Polo Sun ends up being a casualty. They're going to lose the tier 2 tower as well, and that is the last tier 2 tower. So only the high ground remaining for Xtreme Gaming, down 12,000 gold here.
It's really rough when you lose all the towers versus these invis heroes like Bounty, because I mean, he's got the true sight, right? So you know, I'm a little scared, let me hide under the tower for a moment. You know he can't just run through that without being spotted. But now with no outer towers up, it's all on your wards. And there's a Zeus on the enemy team, right? It is very difficult to keep wards up. And if you actually look at the minimap right now, there's one, I think. And that's all the vision you have to play on the map with. Very tough for Xtreme Gaming right now. And the pressure's not even stopping. 423 is just ripping this tower apart on his own. I thought it would be the bristleback, but they don't care. He's just going at it. Melee barracks next to fall. What's the answer here?
I wish I had a good response to that, but I honestly don't know. Like your Warlock Golem Fatal Bonds play, it's probably your best bet, but you're just farming on the other side of the map here with your Primal Beast and your Dragon Knight. Like, they're trying to get some items desperately to be able to contest this high ground push. It's just not happening in time. So Primal Beast is going to make his way back here. JT will finish off another tier 3 tower. Protected, of course, by the Aegis. The Sanjan Yasha completed, and there's going to be an attempted tossback. Doesn't quite connect. XM needs to be careful. Golem does come out. Fatal Bonds are there. Rage to dispel it, and JT will have a Lotus in just a little bit. Oh, never mind. Oh, he did get it off in time. All right.
They still have a minute on this Aegis too.
Yeah.
We'll see if they want to... Well, you don't have to play it safe. That was a Warlock ult. They thought they were going to lose the Queen of Pain, so they dropped the spells to try to save her, because not only would you lose her, but you'd lose your gem, which, I mean, that's pretty much game ending. But now you don't have any spells, so that might also be game ending as JT and 423 just get to work here.
They're going to just reveal the Shadow Blade, try to get some damage here onto the Bristleback, but I think JT kind of wants to die at the moment. He doesn't mind, right? He's coming back with full HP. That sounds pretty good for him. Yeah, there he goes. And with this, what can you throw at the Bristleback now? Lotus is out. They jump in. The Avalanche toss from Ahmed finds 2 new in trouble. The damage is just overwhelming. A Sonic Wave just to make space, but XM cannot retreat as they just get beat down back to the throne. A buyback in from the Primal Beast, but Moodeng, full HP on these heroes as they will take the mega creeps. I feel there's the GG. Yep. Xtreme's going to tap out in game number 1, and Moodeng, a very necessary win for them here in this event.
You could have fooled me. You show me a war
away with the victory here in game number 2. So here we go as these teams head out onto the map. Any facets strike you at all? Is there anything surprising?
I don't think anything too crazy this game. All looks pretty normal to me. The one that's maybe debatable is the Terrorblade.
Yeah.
Some people really like Condemned. Others like whatever the other one's called, the one that takes health to make the illusions.
I got you, don't worry. It's called Soul Fragment.
There we go. I see both of them enough that it's not like, oh, this is like a terrible pick, whatever. It really seems to come down to personal preference on the player.
It depends. Yeah, it depends on personal preference. I think sometimes the heroes play a difference as well. Because when you go for something like Soul Fragment, it like you can typically see that in the off lane, I would say, because you build like the bracer and the pipe, and suddenly, you know, your illusion is almost just free in essence, right? Whereas if you go Condemned, you're going to have to itemize for some extra mana regen. So you're either going to be spending more money on clarities or buying things like a Falcon Blade, unless you were on the Radiant side and you had access to the Wishing Well, which you don't. So we'll be seeing, you know, that kind of maybe impact the Terrorblades, like item decisions at some point here. But for now, we're just going to see how these lanes develop, as is going to be that Clockwork Gyro into that Tusk Dawnbreaker lane. I think once we see the level 2s come out, this is when things are going to get a little volatile in this bottom lane. Well, it's just going to get volatile immediately. Uh-oh. Okay.
This is going to come down to a lot of positioning and choosing the right fights, which we saw JT and Jabs be very smart about in the last game. To be fair, I also think it was easier for them, given the heroes like Warlock really doesn't do that much. Clockwork and Gyro will have much more chance to fight back, but again, it'll really come down to, does the Starbreaker connect? How much battery cell damage are you getting? How many power cog bounces? Currently getting quite a few on Undyne here.
This lane is pushing in pretty heavily. Actually, had neutral creep just crushing some range creeps there, but it's going to be in a good spot here for the Dawnbreaker, and her level 2 is really the main thing, right? Jabs will just have tag team, but the moment JT has the Celestial Hammer as well, that's when they have a little bit more kind of kill threat potential.
Reap Dragon already going on top. This is how Bounty approaches a lot of lanes. Zeus and Terrorblade are actually a lot of damage there. You know, I don't think you really want to go head-to-head with them in the lane. This does open up a very early rotation from Ollie to secure the Water Rune. And as long as Abed grabs his other one, XM already going to be down a little bit of regen here in what is typically a pretty even mid matchup. But if you do end up taking a bunch of crash landing damage, you know, such as that case right there, it adds up when you don't get these early Water Runes.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be one of those, and you always invest into an early range drop, especially once Tiny gets to like level 3 and level 5. And then, like you said, that crash landing damage becomes no joke. So for now, he's okay, but will need definitely some help to make sure that he can secure that 4-minute Water Rune. You could always back for like a 3-minute Bounty Rune, but it doesn't feel as good. Tag team's out. No more battery assault. They're going to go for the dive here on the bottom side, and that will be first blood happening top instead. 2 kills in both lanes here for Moodeng. JT probably like, bro, give me one more second. I needed that.
They're both racing for first blood, trying to get that extra money. But again, we were saying, right? Like, it could go both ways, but being very smart about the fights they take. Any any split between the heroes, Gyro and Clockwork, they both need to be there to be doing all the damage at once. It's a little bit easier for Tusk and Dawnbreaker because she's got the Celestial Hammer to join the fight. Tusk even has the Snowball to, you know, maybe run in. Throwback on Storm in the mid lane with Jabs TPing in. XM really caught off guard by this one. Does not have Zip, and he ends up falling. That is a very heads-up play. I think the creep wave was in the river. So with Storm, the ward was killed off earlier, so he didn't see the TP coming in. Thoughts like, oh, if I get tossed back to that range creep, no big deal. No, not with the Tusk there. That is a really smart play from Moodeng.
On the Copium side, at least his bottle is full now.
So true. Fortunately, the courier just got killed, so Undyne. A lot of these, lots of little losses across the board right now. It's gonna quickly add up.
Oh, gets another toss back to the range creep. XM gets the body blocked, and guess what? Tusk is still here! In with the tag team. That's back-to-back deaths for XM. Okay, his bottle's gonna be ultra filled now, but
so filled.
Heals the most
practically
full bottle.
drinking from the fountain.
Yeah, unlimited bottles, some could say. That is extremely painful. I was gonna say, before that death, he at least had an XP advantage from the CS. He's sitting at 30 and 6. He was winning the lane, but now it is the walk of shame back mid. He does not have boots, as he had to invest in some early kind of like stat and lane items. So Abed pretty happy with the turn of events here in mid lane.
Fortunately for Xtreme Gaming, I think last hit wise, they were doing quite well up to this point. Maybe they can get a return kill here on 423. He's trying to run out of here.
He has some help coming through, and there's the turnaround right away. The snowball's going to connect as well on over to New. Tag team with a little bit of slow. The Heavenly jump in as well. Is the Terrorblade's damage enough? It is. He gets a double kill in exchange. Oh, man. Moodeng are all over this. Oh, God. No raindrops yet on the Storm.
And it hurts with those early deaths back to back. You know, the CS you miss is essentially the raindrops you could have gotten. 423, yeah. Low health, but high armor. So a lot of that damage from the Boars, the Beastmaster, and the Bounty Hunter, just not quite enough to get the kill on the Terrorblade. The big rotations in. I swear, Jabs is all over this map. He has been in all three lanes. We're only 6 minutes into the games. He is 0-5 right now. Or not like 5 deaths, but like 5
deaths.
assists.
Yeah.
He's got
well, that's a terrible score.
Right 5 assists.
You're right.
Right
he's
now
all over the
Tusk.
place. And he's not done. Coming top side.
6th.
If he has the shards, he's going to lock him in just in time for the Dawnbreaker. And, well, normally that combo has been in the bottom side of the map, but they bring it top. They are firing on all cylinders. This looks like a completely different team from what we've seen so far in this tournament.
Yeah, I was going to say, despite being out of the bottom lane so much, I feel like they haven't been able to punish this Dawnbreaker. And we see it right there. She's level 6 very early because of that. Just comes straight in, punishes her counterpart. Now, at least Clockwork did steal the Wisdom Rune, so they're not going to lose all these kills and then lose both Wisdom Runes. That might just, like, seal the deal. I know that's early to say, but you're already on the back foot, and then your supports end up extra under-leveled with no Wisdom Rune. How do you even take any fight whatsoever? So, at least they secure that. Polo's son trying to get a little... Ooh, shards.
Luckily, he's got the snowball. You know, tag team still slowing him down. Just needs one more auto attack. Jabs gets himself his kill. He's like, all right, I deserve one of these. So here's the thing. You're down 8 kills, but the net worth is almost even somehow.
Yeah, the last hits... I mean, because you're moving on the map so much, right? You're not farming as much. The jungle or the lane. So that is where Xtreme Gaming is keeping up. They're doing a very good job on the last hits. But I worry about the XP differences that will start to come
what I was going to wonder,
as these kills keep happening. Now, granted, again, as you're out of the lane, you miss out on some lane XP, so a little bit of balance for now, but it starts to get worse and worse as you pick up the kills and the death timers are longer and longer. So we are approaching that tipping point. You know, Xtreme Gaming has to start cutting these losses, start finding some of their own kills, and then they're back in it.
How often is it a Terrorblade taking the safe lane tower, or taking the off lane tower? Roar into the zip. They're gonna be able to scout out the JT, find that kill. Now looking for jabs. We're on the board here for Xtreme. They bring all 5 to secure themselves these kills, and they both go to XM. Very necessary.
Radiant structures are fortified.
You just left double bounty rune there? Okay. Well, Ollie had different plans for those bounty runes, I think. Not as sure what they were, but...
Did they steal the stack? I think they stole a good chunk of the stack as well, right?
Yeah, they got quite a few there. The gyro cleaned it up. So now Xtreme are in the golden lead, and kind of surprising. They're gonna be able to make another potential rotation here. Well, he gets the D ward, so maybe not. Oh, he had to see that ward get placed, but
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed by XM. Despite the double deaths, did a great job of maintaining his farm.
I'll be honest, I have absolutely no idea how it's possible, but we're going to see them jump onto the gyrocopter here. The Starbreaker is available. Doesn't need it quite yet. Call Down's going to do a lot of work here. JT gets pulled back. The toss damage from the Tiny is a lot. In comes the Beastmaster. What a sunder. It's going to bail them out. XM, he dies in the process. This might be a full team wipe for Moodeng, and it is. Oh my goodness, that sunder was so clutch. From 4-2-3.
I think that is where the early levels end up making the difference. Just having one extra level in your abilities here. Some of it was also the development of the fight, right? Like Undyne being taken out right away doesn't get to do too much. I think the call down, maybe if it came out a little bit sooner, could do a bit more for them as well. But everyone getting so low, the AoE crash landing, the AoE static remnants. Oh, but when you're just a bit lower level than them, that's where the like 100 extra magic damage you get on your spells. The axes would do a little bit more throughout that fight. And then you're coming out with potentially the team wipe.
Yeah, that hurts a lot. Credit's got to be over to the fact that Moodeng is just playing the fights really well. Like, Xtreme Gaming is struggling in the fighting department, obviously, by, you know, if you just look at the score. They're farming fairly well, but you did mention the XP is going to make a big difference, and we're seeing that now. So
Blink
this Terrorblade is going to be scary. Is it already online? Okay.
Yeah, and supports are still level 5, whereas Moodeng is both level 6s. And we see that come into play here. Undyne, no hook shot to get in or out of this. Gonna drop. And now low. He's actually pretty fast with the Afterburner. Not faster than his Blink Dagger.
Well, does he have Avalanche mana? He does, just barely. In comes the Zeus. They need just a little bit more. Dawnbreaker's coming through. It's not going to be enough to catch him, but they turn it around now. There's the Roar. XM's doing a lot of work here. The Urns are stacking up as well, and Jabs not gonna look pretty safe here for him. Does throw a Walrus Punch here at the end, but that is 3 track kills for the Gyrocopter.
Radiant's bottom tower.
That is... All right, that Gyro has survived way longer than I think any of us thought. He's got the Falcon Blade, the Raindrop, Seeds of Serenity, giving a lot of bonus health as well. And then being just such a fast hero with Afterburner. He ends up really deep on his own half of the map. Xtreme, much faster on rotating this time around. Last game, we saw so many tiny Blink pickoffs. But this time, everyone comes in. Here's the Beastmaster. Here's Polo Sun. Looks like some of them weren't quite track kills. Looks like you got 6 here.
Yeah.
But
just
still,
gets it on Jabs there.
You get at least 1 on Jabs, which is very much needed for how this game's going.
Well, there's Tiny and Tusk doing some tag team action on the bottom side there, getting a kill onto the Beastmaster. The thing that worries me, I mean, they could have just gotten the gyro and backed, but they made the call to kill the Clockwork first, right? Like, gyro was stuck. And they went for like the snowball walrus punch onto the Clockwork instead. So maybe like a little bit of decision making there that cost them. Call down's going to be dodged by the snowball. Undyne stuck inside his own cogs. In comes the Storm Spirit, though. 4-2-3's on the side here, dumping out a lot of damage. Starbreaker is going to connect onto the gyro. And that's the big target you're looking for. Both supports heading up north. They should get the TPs on out. Oh, he just guest tossed from Fog. No way, Abed. That's cool.
Scanned and went for it, but it's still a guess of where he is in that tree line. It's a very nice find, unless there's something that gave him away. I don't think there was. So you end up with a 2-for-1, a single track kill, but it cost you your carry. Ends up not being too worth it, I would say.
And not a heavy commitment from Moodeng, right? They still have Dawnbreaker ult. They still have Zeus ult. You did pop the Metamorphosis off of Terrorblade, but he's just going to use it to farm anyway, so he's having a great game. Now, almost 2,000 gold. Ooh, XM mid nearly gets taken down from the supports. Ollie on the run, tracked up. Roar is going to secure that kill. In comes JT. Orchid out, the Starbreaker, the damage, trying to finish off this Beastmaster, but he's alone. Avalanche in from Abed's like, see ya, bud, I'm out. Another heavy extension here from Moodeng.
So many 5-on-5 fights going on. We're 15 minutes in. It is 10-18. This is an extremely scrap-heavy game, but with a bounty hunter on the side of Xtreme Gaming, they actually like these, right? Like, every time you're going roughly even, you'll end up a little bit more ahead, thanks to the bonus gold from Track. Thought they could kill Storm, get another quick pickoff. I feel like he learned his lesson from last game. He's got a bit of a tankier build, making sure to be faster on switching over to those strength treads just by default, so that if he does get surprise jumped, he's just got that extra health. You know, he does not want a repeat of the last game.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Witchblade being just the natural buildup does give you extra armor, which you need in these matchups, right? Like, that little bit of extra armor is the difference between him living and dying. So Storm, surprisingly tanky.
I do think that Storm jump... Ooh, is he out of here?
Ooh, and I mean, they don't know where the rest of the team is. XM is a little bit too afraid.
Yeah, there's also always the Dawnbreaker. You know, well, actually, the ult's still on cooldown. I think if they're keeping track, they'll know.
But you're absolutely right. All this stuff favors Xtreme Gaming, right? Like, anytime you have these like tracks and like bounty hunter skirmishes, like trading even is great, but the fact that they've actually traded positive in the last couple exchanges is really good for them. It's given them a lot of time to recover back into this game. Now, you're not slowing down Terrorblade too much, but XM is the one who's going to be setting the tempo for the side of Xtreme anyway. Him and the Beastmaster, right? Gyro just needs to farm to his core items.
Yeah, and after those early deaths, starting out 0-2 on the Storm Spirit, he's now 8-3-1. So he's got 13 galvanized stacks. He's got a lot more mana to work with. And this is where the next couple fights will be very impactful. Can you find the space for the Terrorblade, let him hit that critical mass? Or can you find a couple more pickoffs with the Track, get yourself that huge jump in gold, and now your Gyrocopter will have the damage to deal with the Terrorblade. For now, it looks like a sneaky Roche play. I don't know if you would expect this at this timing usually.
They scanned it, so they're aware. This is a really smart play from Moodeng because Beastmaster is always the hero that wants to threaten the Roshan at around that 17-minute mark with either the Helm of the Overlord or his Aghanim Scepter. This game, he's going for the Overlord. So this is going to slow down the potential threat of the Beastmaster. They trade for the tier 1 mid. But overall, Moodeng, I think making the right call there to take that out of the hands of Xtreme Gaming and secure it while they still feel like they're stronger.
the advantage with the Aegis now. You still have to be careful with the fights you take. We've been seeing many of these fights are all the heroes dying quickly together because there's so much AoE damage. So even if you have Aegis, but you die with your team all at the same time and you respawn, you're just going to die on your own right after that. So you still have to be careful. I think you have to depend a little bit more on the tossbacks.
You're losing 2 tier 2 towers just after getting Aegis.
It does feel weird. They're too scared though. They know that they've set up in that position and they're too scared to go in.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna lose mid and bottom. Like, Beastmaster has no threats. They're gonna see the Bounty Hunter coming mid, and they're debating on looking to finish him off, but they also need to get a tier 2 of their own. Like, I feel like this top tower has to die to make this rotation worth it.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And it's gonna take a moment. Backdoor protection kicks in. The rest of Xtreme Gaming starting to close in. Toss will finish it off. All right, so they do manage to get a tower, but yeah, that is really well played from Xtreme, I suppose. Like, they just, you know, don't want to fight into the Aegis, and I guess Moodeng don't want to defend their towers. Avalanche comes out from Abed, the toss back. A little bit of an aggressive ult from the Dawnbreaker, but they will find themselves a big kill, as well as that Helm of the Overlord creep. So an extra, what, 250 gold from that thing, right?
I think so, yeah. And looks like Clockwork does manage to hook shot out just in time. I think the blink was about to come back up for Abed. All right, maybe this is their chance to now equalize the towers they lost. Terrorblade does take the buildings very quickly. I believe I saw he has the shard. Yeah, so even without having meta available, you do a lot of building damage.
I'm so glad that this shard is finally picked up, because literally day one of that ability coming into Dota, I thought it was really good. And then, you know, everyone said it was bad. It's been buffed, I guess, slightly, but still, it seems so good on paper. So
it just takes time. I mean,
yeah,
here we are in Glimmer Cape PA first pick territory. Just takes time to find this stuff.
Radiant's middle tower is
I want to see them group up here for the Tormentor at the 20-minute mark. Nice idea here from Xtreme, right? They just needed their Beastmaster to come back. Might as well group up, grab the Tormentor. Seeming like Moodeng kind of wants to do the same thing. Shard goes to Undyne, which, fantastic shard.
You needed to find this Zeus in the back lines, and Tusk is working on a blink, so if you can catch sight of him too, make sure you're not overcommitting into the blink snowball save, which is very, very annoying with the roar and the hook shot commitments. To just waste all that time. You dodge the flat cannon call down, all of that. So a lot of utility with this blink once he gets to it. Who got the shard right there? Zeus. So his farm speed's about to shoot up.
Good old spicy crest. Fingers.
I think I'm up for the Ags next, but it is a bit of a slower build up.
Ooh, avalanche toss into the Dawnbreaker. The burst damage is coming through. They try to get the save there with the Clockwork. It's not going to be enough. They get the kill. The snowball ends up stunning up too. XM goes in to try and grab JT. He's going to be able to do it. The BKB protecting him for now, but he is almost out of mana. And Abed is still looking for more. The toss from Polosin now on to New. Can he get out though? Abed, he might die. Sunder from 4-2-3 is going to keep him in. Blink Dagger in one. And he's got him. Really sick stuff. Great Sunders from 4-2-3 in this game. It's a 2 for 2 though, mind you. It's just slightly better as you do get the gyrocopter.
Yeah, I think that's the nice thing, right? Like, you keep finding the carry kill first. So even if you end up trading, you know, we'll say evenly after that, you do pick up a gold and an XP lead for your carry. So for example, we see that coming into play here, about closing in on 2,000 gold for the Terrorblade, and 2 levels higher than the gyrocopter as well. And maybe like a level and a half. Gyro's not that far from 15. But it's not easy. Like, if you don't have enough damage to mostly kill off the illusions with your flat cannon, then Terrorblade will kind of wreck you on the gyrocopter, right? Because all your other damage, like your rocket barrage doesn't even matter that much if he has all the illusions tanking it up. So to win this carry matchup, you need to be able to kill the illusions with your AoE damage. And he does have help from his teammates, but it's certainly harder if you don't do as much damage with your flat cannon because you keep being killed first.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the matchup of Terrorblade versus Gyrocopter is one of those things that it's typically Terrorblade favored unless the Gyrocopter is the one that's ahead. And right now he's not. Now he could get to that critical mass point where he gets things like Daedalus, the Satanic, stuff like that becomes too difficult to actually bring down. But Terrorblade, once he has this Eye of Scotty, he's going for a Butterfly Satanic after that. The Eye of Scotty is going to make things really difficult. Oh, hook shot in. The tracks here onto Abed. He's going to need some help. The Sunder could save him, but it's going to be a snowball that bails him out. And it's going to be a really nice jump on over, trying to finish off this Gyrocopter as that BKB expires. I don't know how Tiny gets out of this. Polosin now getting ran down. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. And Moodeng, I think, pretty happy, looking for more here, seeing if they can get to Undyne. Abed does not have a toss target. And XM is completely out now, has that regen rune running, so he should be more than fine.
It's being a 1-for-1. I think the fact that Tiny was the initial target and he gets out alive, though, is pretty good for Moodeng. That snowball save coming into play there. The value of the Blink Tusk, that's always been there, but when he got nerfed, it was much harder to reach this point. So a lot of teams no longer go for the Tusk, but you see he's been having a great game. He has reached this Blink at a very reasonable time, considering he even got drums first. So this is like, at this point, the nerfs to Tusk aren't as significant, and we're just back to classic. I can kind of do everything Tusk. I can pierce BKBs with the punch. I can save all my teammates with snowballs, amp damage with tag team, trap people with ice shards. Like, this is a glory days Tusk here. Yeah.
And we saw in that fight kind of the difference of the Terrorblade versus the Gyrocopter, right? Gyrocopter has to like BKB run in, and Terrorblade just pops Manta, illusion, like pops his other illusion, just stands on the high ground, just wailing on this Gyrocopter, forces him to basically hightail it out of there under the cover of that BKB. It's the scary part of the matchup, and now that the Eye of Scotty is complete, it's going to be a lot more difficult to do that. Oh, Avalanche. Polosin, he's in pretty deep. Should be a freebie for the side of Moodeng. Goes to 4-2-3 here. Abed's Tiny, man. Very scary.
He was trying to steal the rune away. Unfortunately, Abed won that click war, got an arcane rune. I guess he had to use it like right away for that, so at least not saving it for a future team fight. And at least your gyro is not the one dying right away this time. He is getting to work on the Satanic. With that, it'll be much harder to burst him down, but still needs a bit more time to get to the actual Reaver, which is where a lot of the survivability comes from. And I don't... Well, actually, it's a pretty long Roche spawn. I was going to say they can maybe do Roche before the Satanic comes online, but depending on how he farms and how pressured they feel to be up here, maybe you can get the Reaver at the least, potentially the full Satanic before this Roche.
It would be a big difference for them in the fight if he can get to the Satanic. But
because at
they
that
are
point,
smoked
he
up.
can go in first and wait for his team, and then roar and zip and all that to save him, and then he just Satanics all the way back up.
So the scan did connect. They don't know exactly where they went after this. They will see the Storm Spirit showing in mid for a moment, but they really want to find an opening here with this scan, or with the smoke. But scan comes out from the Radiant. They know exactly where they are. They're just behind them. JT comes out mid, forces the BKB out of XM. He's just baiting. In comes the rest of the team. The Snowball's not needed to get the toss back onto the Gyrocopter. He's forced to BKB and run, gets out of the shards thanks to the Force Staff, but New In trouble here on the Beastmaster. Starbreaker is gonna connect. What a beautiful initiation from JT, just forcing Xtreme Gaming's hand. And they're gonna go straight for Roche. They don't know what's not up for another 20 seconds, but they really want to contest this. Oh, no. Oh, okay, they were going
close.
bottom. That was a sick rotation. I thought they were going Roche. They were going for the twin gate play to the gyro. Wow.
Yeah, they happen to have an observer there that scouts him. He dropped by the secret shop, disassembled his Crystallis, so he does have a Satanic now. Missing a little bit of damage. It won't take too long to finish this Claymore, especially because you're just waiting for the Beastmaster. You do lose the Roche. It gets scouted by the Rocket Flare as well, so I think they know they can't really contest this. Maybe Undyne will go for the hook shot steal.
I feel like they've got to do
close.
something. Dawnbreaker can be
jetpack
here.
in.
Okay. They smoke underneath that flare. So Xtreme Gaming know exactly what's going on. Not willing to overcommit for the Roshan here. They don't... How long until meta? I think it's at least probably another 30 seconds, right?
Yeah, 34.
Okay.
Real good guess. Back in the pit. They actually didn't have that much vision to know what Xtreme was doing, so they thought with that rocket flare they were coming in. But I think eventually Xtreme showed in some waves.
They know he's up there somewhere trying to find him. Zeus should be able to scout him eventually, hiding in the trees. Tiny gets him on the toss, and a valiant attempt from Undyne, but he will not be able to steal the Roshan. Aegis into the hands of 423. The Roche banner will be picked up from Ollie. Now, meanwhile, Xtreme Gaming was making a play on the opposite side of the map, looking for the Dawnbreaker, and you've got to give props to JT. He reads this and just sits in the base. He just walks all the way back to the base and just decides it's not worth, you know, potentially getting caught here.
Exactly. You get a lot of freedom because you're the global hero. You're allowed to farm all you want. But your main job there is to make sure you are alive so that you can globally rotate in to help your team. So you always got to play it safe if you're ever scared. So very responsible play from him. Even with the Sange and Yasha, you know, sometimes you get baited into thinking like, I got the status resistance, I'm fine. I can go be more aggressive.
This is a very similar play we saw from Xtreme last time, right? Moodeng got the Aegis topside on Dire. They took the whole triangle and took mid and bottom tier 2s. They're here now just threatening high ground. Meanwhile, 423 doing the exact same thing. Which team is going to be forced back first? They will see the TP in from the Tiny, caught from the Cogs. Abed will not get himself a toss back here. But they will be forced back to deal with this Terrorblade, who's already finished the tier 3.
Okay, so they end up committing the banner to get the tier 3, but that's not too bad. Like, you're continuing to waste this Roche time. Now, there's still 3 minutes and a half, so I mean, you get a lot more time to waste, but I don't think you want to take a direct fight right now, so I like that maneuver from Xtreme.
I agree. I think that's exactly what they needed. There is now a butterfly coming out for 423 though, and this is a massive boost in damage for the Terrorblade. Also survivability. You know, Gyrocopter does not have an answer for this. XM sitting on the backside here, looking to probably just cut the next wave. Call down's gonna help clean up the first one. But 423 should be able to grab the tower. Goodbye, Terrorblade's courier.
Oh my goodness, he's deleting this tower. His butterfly damage, man.
The butterfly changes so much. Demon Zeal, butterfly. Yeah, backdoor protection comes in for a second and it doesn't matter. And he's just going to start chipping away at the top lane here in a moment. They could just focus on bottom, right? Because there's a tier 2 down there. Never mind. That's a much better target. Walrus punches out. In comes the snowball, but they're really taking their time. New tries to get out with this roar, but it's not going to happen. There's going to be the Orchid from JT. The chase is there. And that means no Beastmaster now. They did fix all 3 lanes, which is kind of remarkable for Xtreme Gaming. So they have stalled this out a little bit.
It's good maneuvering, knowing they don't want to fight, so they're doing their best to avoid those fights. It did cost them their mid barracks. Maybe unavoidable, though, when you're 10k behind. right? So you're hoping to split them up and then try to find a pick off with the bounty hunter. It's just really hard. JT's playing smart on the Dawnbreaker. He's the main target you would go for. But once they start missing, you have no idea if they're all back or not, and you have to just hide in every lane.
Well, now the creeps have crashed into the base. No more backdoor protection. 4-2-3 is just going to make quick work of these barracks. And now just straight to the tier 4s. I mean, here's the thing. There's a tier 2 bottom. Who cares, right? You got all this space now, both mid and top being taken. How do you initiate this fight? They're going to try for it. There's going to be the Vortex, the Roar, the BKB, but that is the Ags from the Dawnbreaker into a Snowball. Sunder, he finds his target. Goodbye, New. And now Terrorblade lays the damage down, taking the Gyrocopter out of the game. And now the hopes of Xtreme Gaming, as that should be the end of this series. GG comes out, and a 2-0 from Moodeng. What a great game.
Very much needed by them to keep their